Welcome back to the podcast. So I'm pretty excited today. Back in September of 2025, 8 a.m., which is formerly known as Affinipay, which is the holding company of MyCase, CasePeer, DocketWise, and LawPay, held an in-person user conference in Austin, Texas, which is where they're headquartered. And I was invited to be a panelist on 3 different sessions that were held in the 2.5-day event. Today, I'm so excited that 8 a.m. was gracious enough to send me the video from each session. And today's podcast episode is a replay of one of those sessions. I hope you enjoy. Welcome to your Profitable Law Firm podcast. I'm Kelley Brubaker, your dedicated host, passionate about empowering law firm owners. Let's dive into the hidden strategies that lead to overflowing profits, scaled growth, and thriving lives. This is where overwhelm transforms into confidence, enabling you to create and enjoy your dream firm and your dream life.
Thanks all for coming. If you wanted to be in the management and growth strategies for solo and small firms, you are in the right location. Thank you for coming. I'm Catherine Dawson. I'm the Chief Legal Officer at 8 a.m., and we're really excited to have all of you here, not just at Kaleidoscope, but in this session as well. I'd like to introduce our panelists today and then ask you guys to each talk about your firm and what you do and tell us a little bit about yourselves, if you don't mind. Zach, I'll start with you. Zach Herbert, welcome.
Thank you.
Glad to be here. Can you tell us a little bit about your firm?
Sure. I own a personal injury law firm in Dallas, Texas. I have been doing that I've owned the firm since 2017. I've been doing personal injury law since 2013, and I also own a consulting firm, ZDH Consulting, where I consult on processes for other personal injury law firms.
Gotcha. And Kelley?
Hi, I'm Kelley Brubaker. I'm actually the oddball up here because I'm a CPA, but I work with law firms. I've had my accounting firm for 20 years, and I specialize in law firms for probably the last 15 years, so I've seen a lot. I'm a fractional CFO. My firm is called Profit Scale Thrive because I help attorneys with growing overflowing profits, scaled growth, and then thriving lives.
And Bob, welcome.
So Bob Simon, I gotta turn this on. Check. Wow. Bob Simon. I have a firm called the Simon Law Group, which I rebranded to the Justice Team. So it started with just me in 2009. Now I have about 25 lawyers. We're in Arizona, Texas, and California. I live in California. I'm also co-founder of something called Justice HQ, which is a community-based app which everybody should be on because it shows every event in the industry, masterminds, etc. And Attorney Share, which is a case marketplace lead management, which we integrate with 8 a.m.'s products so that lawyers can actually make money so they can pursue their passion. And I think that's it. I also have a bourbon talk show. That's why my voice is very scratchy from last night.
Too much bourbon or too much talk?
You can never have too much bourbon.
I'll take your word for that. All right, let's do a quick warm-up lap. How many people work at your law firm, and sort of tell us a little bit about how you opened your own firm?
I opened my firm in my living room with a newborn baby on my shoulder. And
Gutsy.
A third one, and now we have 4. And my wife had no idea how to run a law firm or anything about personal injury, and now she's my COO, and she helped me develop all of the processes that we have now. We're a team of 10, and there's one other attorney and myself.
Perfect. Takes a lot of courage to, one, have 4 children. I have 2, so 4 is a lot.
That's all on her, not me. I didn't do much.
I believe you. Just kidding. And Kelley, talk to us about your practice.
Sure. I have 3 people who work for me, and 2 are bookkeepers. One's a virtual assistant, helps with my marketing, my podcast, and stuff like that. I was childless and not married at the time. I was completely single, although I had a dog and a cat and a mortgage. And I told my parents, I came, blue collar background. My mom worked retail. My dad was a fireman. And they were like, "You quit your job? Are you effing crazy?" And I'm like, "Yep, nope. The worst thing, if I can't make my mortgage payment, I'm going to sell the house and move in with you." And they were like, "Don't do that."
Their eyes got super wide.
Yes. So
I liked your description of completely single versus partly single.
No backup plan. No plan B.
And Bob, how about you?
So I started my firm after just 3 years of practice, and literally the same type of story where it's like I got an office space and I was sharing it with my copier, scanner. And, I was like answering the mail, scanning it in, put it where it needs to go, doing all the filings. Tried 3 cases that year, did very well, was able to invest in the firm. But I've never advertised for our firm ever. We're all referral based. And I think some of the stuff we'll be able to talk about, how you can really grow your practice and do what you love to do just by developing relationships. And I think that's the strength. Now with integrations and technology, it makes it way easier. So
that's helpful. Good tips. So, a lot of people in the room are probably at different stages of the journey of, thinking about starting a firm, just started, getting on down the road. What general advice do you have for someone early on at their firm? Are there, sort of lessons you learned the hard way that you could save some folks on the learning curve?
I think the best thing I ever did was I read a lot of books about processes. The E-Myth Attorney was a book that I read, The 4-Hour Work Week, books like that, because I was building the processes as I was building the firm. I mean, I was wearing all the hats, but for instance, in Case Beer, there's tasks. And so I just imagined that I would just write down every single thing that I did, and that would be a task that later somebody would be assigned when I hired a paralegal, and then when I hired a legal assistant, and so on and so forth. So I wrote down the formula for how I did a case from start to finish. And there's time at the beginning to be able to do that. I don't have time to write those things down now. And then templates. Every single letter, every single document, everything that I ever wrote, even if I stole most of it from the firm I came from.
Which you would never do.
A couple of laughter. Some people, everybody knows what I'm talking about. And instead of rewriting that letter, if I just sat and made it a template to plug in the database items in that template, now I'm saving time for the rest of the future.
Right. And I think as a business owner, that time saved is so critical. It's, when I was an associate at a big law firm, saving time meant I would just try to leave early, right? But when it's your big practice, then you have other things to do, like run the business, right? Or
you're saving future time by doing that now.
It's a good way to think about it. Bob, how about you?
I mean, I'm a big believer in doing what you love to do most of the time. And exactly what he said is, I coach a lot of lawyers and law firms, show them how to start their firms. One, get in mentorship circles, get in ones that are free. Don't go spending thousands of dollars for these masterminds, right? There's ways to get in with people that have been there, build it before, that can help you acquire cases, build your businesses, show these processes. But I would say write down on a sheet of paper on the left all the stuff you love to do that's in your wheelhouse, on the right, the shit you hate, and then learn how to outsource all those other things. Start by outsourcing. 1099s to start, and as you grow your firm, you can hire it in-house. But there's no reason why everybody here cannot own their own success, their own path. A lot with these leveraging technology. I mean, I help lawyers start their own firms. They're running with just them and a couple of virtual assistants, and they are crushing right now with some of the stuff that's out there. But it just starts with you looking inside, say, what does my life want to look like? And then working backwards.
A little self-reflective awareness, always a good thing. Kelley, I think you've got a really unique perspective as a CPA coming in and helping firms on their journey. Sort of a similar question, but from your vantage point, what are some of the things you wish law firms, so small and solo firms, were doing sort of before they call you? I imagine they might be in a bit of a crisis, but excuse me, the things that they can do early on that help.
Yeah, so my first thing is, do not take every single client or potential new client that calls you. Just don't do it. There's tire kickers, there's time wasters. Your gut will tell you, and I know this one from experience, probably the first 5 years of my firm, if you walked in my door, I had an actual office. If you walked in the door, I'm like, what can I do for you? If it was anything money or tax related, accounting, whatever, I'm like, sure, I'll make it happen. I'll make it work. It was the worst thing. I was driving myself into the ground. So just creating an ideal client profile, knowing when to say no. It took a lot of guts. I'm a people pleaser, so I had a really hard time learning to say no to people, but once I did, that really transformed my practice, and I see that in my clients as well. And then the second thing would be pricing. Don't underprice yourself. You are valuable, I promise. Don't try to price the same as the firm across the street or down the street or around the corner or whatever. And don't even try to price, if you were from a former firm, don't even try to price because they set their prices based on their financial structure. So, come up with you're gonna have to test the market to figure out, but price what you are worth. Do not underprice at all. It will kill your firm, and you need to.
And to piggyback off what you just said is, it will kill you to be your own receptionist.
Yes.
Because, like you, I'm people pleaser. I will find a way to win every case. Like, fuck, I'll do it. I'll take it on, right? But you cannot do that. And they don't let me do intake at my firm anymore, unless it's like a really big case, then I can step in and do it.
I like your staff.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. My receptionist is artificial intelligence.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so we build, you can call and talk to it. It's amazing. But what it does is it screens the cases that if it's our wheelhouse, it'll send it to our closer for intake. If it's something we would never want to do or something outside of our wheelhouse or practice area, we build an automated workflow where it just pushes into a platform to get matched with the lawyer that does that, monetize referral fee, co-counsel fee, et cetera. But that was a huge unlock for us because you don't want your staff on the phone all day for stuff that you can't take, but you got to be building your business and actually doing the work. So
I think that's really helpful, and that's the first use case in that particular use case I haven't heard before, and we're definitely going to spend some time on technology and AI in a little bit. But were there points where you had to really focus on growth versus just kind of getting the work done and bringing in new business? But when did you start to realize you needed to hire more people or you needed more help?
Well, and I just would wait until I get crazy, and then I would hire somebody.
Until your wife had it.
Yeah. I heard a number for a personal injury law firm a while ago, and I can't really get that number out of my head. If you're doing a lot of car wreck cases like I was, and you get to 50 per person that works at your law firm, it's a good start to kind of measure your staff. I don't know if that is just a rubric to use across the board, but it was something that I used at the beginning. When I got to 50 cases, it's time for me to hire somebody to help me. I can't do 50 on my own. That was my number. It worked for me. I think my processes have changed and my needs have changed since then, but that was what I used at the beginning.
That's an interest. I hadn't heard that stat before. Bob, how about you?
I kind of hire whenever you think. Here's the thing. I'm a big turn on the massive growth all the time. That's just my mindset. What's the worst problem? The champagne problem. Oh my God, I have too many cases that are good, right? Guess what? You can go counsel with your friends. You can bring in somebody else to split the work with you. You can share those fees together, share the success, let somebody else work in their wheelhouse. So I'm always turning up the faucet, and I get a lot of cases through social media. I will do 1 or 2 reels a day, and the AI assistant will be picking up those calls to see if they're good or not for us. But I'm a big fan of dialing it up because you could be the best lawyer in the world, but if nobody knows it and they can't find you, what good is it? So I try to be actively out there, like I'm probably geofencing this conference right now with my content, so you see me all the time.
Probably?
Definitely, most definitely. But that's, I just never, I never want to turn off the faucet.
I think that's really interesting, and I think, sometimes us lawyers can feel a little bit guarded about social media or sort of not super comfortable putting ourselves out there in a big way. It seems like that is not your problem, but do you have any advice for people who are kind of new to taking that on?
Come from a place of education and helping people first. To me, that's always the best content. If it's in your wheelhouse, if you're doing instructional videos on fractional CFO work, it would work. Well, first of all, people will want to hire you, and it's education people want.
I do. So I have a series I started, and I actually didn't finish because I knew the interface was changing. But for my case, I was doing my case Mondays, and I was doing one section of my case, and I would do it on YouTube. And I haven't posted a video. I think I maybe got through about 8. And I haven't posted a new video in maybe 4 months. And I get calls probably once every other week. And how did you find me? I found your video on YouTube. I looked up accountant, my case, or bookkeeper, my case, something. And so, yeah, it does. But it was educational. I am an open book. I share a lot of information freely between LinkedIn and YouTube, and then I have a podcast, and just people get to know you, and then when they want more information, that's when they can work with me offline, private.
There's ways you can use technology that you can have it create your own AI commercial for if you wanted to. You could literally drop in images and have it do that if you don't want to be on the camera and do those things. So look, I mean, you just got to get out of your comfort zone a little bit. Like, I get frustrated whenever a lawyer finds me, they want to work with me on like Instagram. I go to their profile and it's just a private account, doesn't say what they do, where they are. I'm like, man, like, how are you getting business? Like, it's a digital billboard that's free. And I mean, I just think you kind of have to get out of your comfort zone a little bit in order to help people.
Oh, totally. Yeah. And like do not go watch my first podcast episodes, but
we're all doing that immediately.
They suck. And they're on like audio on all the podcast apps plus YouTube. Suck. But you know what? I just kept doing it. And now it's been over 2 years. And now I jump on the camera and I'm like, hey, this is what we're talking about today. It just takes practice.
Can I ask Bob a question? I don't want to take your
Go for it.
thunder.
No, take over.
Oh, no.
I love it.
Oh, no.
Bob, so let's say you're on social media, you're posting. It feels sometimes, though, that it might be like a buckshot approach to your audience. Do you recommend that you pay a little bit for those ads that Facebook and Instagram does to keep it in your community, your local circle, your neighborhood radius at all?
So yeah, I think that, and it's so low cost, like, I will run digital ads on specific thing. Like, if I'm doing one for a specific type of case, I will run those ads for those things. But I do believe in like the pillars of, if you watch all my content, it's like social justice, just really fun stuff with my family, empowerment, use of technology. Like, there's pillars that I intentionally, bourbon drinking, the Bourbon Approved Show. But I want to shout out to this gentleman over here who's going to be running for state office here in Texas. He wasn't going to say it, but we need good humans like this. So we'll be filming it. We'll be doing a super PAC. We'll do some content about it.
Right, you're not allowed to leave until you donate. No, I'm just kidding.
So Zach, that's news to me. I love the Stump the Moderator. Just quickly, what are you running for?
I'm running for state representative for House District 112. It's up in Dallas. Is my district.
That's great. Well, we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you very much.
I'm not a voter in that area or whatever, but I would support you.
They just gerrymandered you. You're fine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Anything goes, right? Texas.
You might be included. You don't know.
I just don't know it yet.
Grabbed you over there.
Ohio, no problem. You're in.
Exactly. I think this is really helpful in this social media. Tell us, Zach, about do you engage in social media to get new clients, or how do you use it?
I do. I do engage in social media, and I like to make the funny videos that have really nothing to do with my law firm and what we do. We just have fun at work. And I did recently get one on TikTok. We're almost to 1 million views of me just scaring my paralegal over and over again.
I love it. And I would hate you because I hate to be scared, but I love that
most viewed video that we've ever posted is just me coming up behind her and touching her shoulder because she wears headphones. And she's very dramatic, so her reactions are great.
You've probably taken like 6 months off her life. But
that's what the comments say. That's what people say.
So to work for you, you have to be like easily scared or easily filmed on TikTok?
My wife will not let me scare her. It's like a rule in our 20 years of marriage, just don't do it. So I guess I have to scare somebody at work.
Gotta have an outlet. Outlets are good.
Haven't gotten any cases from that. Nobody said, I hired you because you scare your paralegal. But it does help with people that find us, because we've got a pretty good radius in Richardson, where I'm based, and people will find us, and then they will look at our socials. So they'll Google personal injury attorney near me. They'll find Herbert Law Group. They'll go to our socials. They'll see, oh, this isn't that stuffy lawyer that I see on TV or anything. They have fun. He's a real person, and then they'll give us a call. So they'll mention the social media, but that's not how they find me most of the time.
Gotcha. Interesting. Back to sort of the kind of cases that you're willing to take and what you look for, sort of how do you fine tune that? How do you start to analyze your practice and say, okay, these are the cases that are sort of more, I don't love the word lucrative, but are more worth your while. are more interesting, or how do you kind of fine tune when you're just starting out or you've been in practice for a little bit? Sort of how do you grow your practice in that way?
You pick stuff that you're passionate about, first of all, and if it also happens to be profitable for you, so be it. But whenever you're putting out content or you're looking for clients, put yourself in a position where you are essentially advertising for those cases wherever that you are. So when lawyers come like, oh my God, what should my brand be? What should I do? And I was like, do you want to be the slip and fall lawyer at the 99-cent store with like no injury person? No. So just like get very educated on the stuff that you want to help people on and put content out there and get those types of cases. Like the most viral ones I go on social media is when I'm like, I won a big crusade against Uber for various reasons and the sex abuse cases, and there's millions of views. And I also got a lot of cases from that to help a lot of survivors that were abused by drivers. But I'm passionate about that. I like those things. We develop work processes there after to be able to figure it out and do it. But if you think you don't know that area law, guess what? You have a friend that does. Work with them, talk to them. And that's, I think, the beauty of having we all should be in the national practice of law because you have a person anywhere that can help you. It doesn't have to be, you're not limited by Texas or Ohio, wherever that you are. You just are not. There's people that will help you nationwide. So cast your big net and stuff that you love.
Zach,
I started off, I came from a big law firm that just did car wrecks. And so when I started off, I just was doing car wrecks as well. And I knew them very well.
defense or
Plaintiff. And I've tried a lot of car wreck cases, like a lot. And you kind of see the same thing over and over again when you try that many cases. And you can see, how'd the wreck happen? Is there a police report? These are the things that I look for. And sorry, my time's up. And these are the things that you look for. I took referrals only, and I did start advertising for a little bit, but I'm just back to referrals only of car wrecks from other larger car wreck law firms that didn't want to file lawsuits on the harder ones too, like for liability, that sort of thing. So my niche kind of became, what's the crappy case that you don't want to file a lawsuit on? I'll take it, I'll file on it. And I started to get really successful with those. And that led into, this is probably in the next question, but that led into, I treated those clients like they were, my only clients. I was very communicative with them, and I got good Google reviews from them as well. And then when their friends got into a car wreck, which had better facts, they called me. And now with my 200, 5-star Google reviews that I have, it has helped with the radius, the Google rankings, and about half my cases now come from word of mouth, and the other half are attorney referrals. At the beginning, it was 100% attorney referrals. So I'm trying to make it more than half of word of mouth, and that's what we're doing right now, but that mix grows.
Yeah, and the communication's key, and I know there's a lot of vendors out here. By the way, spend time with the vendor groups because there's fantastic partners here of 8 a.m. Client communication is paramount. So if you keep your relationship with your clients, even after the case closes, they are your best referral source. And a lot of people lose sight of that. You should be marketing, I don't care if it's a Christmas card once a year or text message, how you doing? There's a lot of automations you could do. Those are your best marketing opportunities because they know you, they will help sell you to that person to hire you. But
Agreed.
Don't lose sight on that.
Yeah.
Before we turn to technology, I did want to ask about billing. We all hate the billable hour. And I know in personal injury, you generally don't bill by the hour. But are there sort of tips for new or trends that you're seeing on how you're billing or how you're charging for a case? And maybe this segues into technology and how that changes how you think about how you earn money.
Well, I'm contingent fee only, which is a crazy way to make money. But after a while, you kind of get used to it. I do get guardian ad litem appointments from judges in town, and I only do flat fee for those. I have billed before, and I hated it. And I think I think both sides hate it. I think the people that are paying the bill hate billable hours, and I think the people that are doing the billable hours hate it. And so the flat fee really seems to be the way, everybody seems to be going to flat fee that I talk to, as well as a hybrid flat fee. Something, maybe you've got the retainer agreement, and then you've got another flat fee when it hits discovery or when it hits these landmarks, that sort of thing. But billable hour, no. I don't like it.
No, yeah.
Don't offer anything other than I don't like it.
And Bob?
Yeah, I'm a purebred. I've never billed an hour in my life.
Really?
But yeah, it's true. But we have some like employment lawyers use a lot are on my case because there's a billable hour feature. So employment lawyers, even on the claimant side of Delta, you have to calculate your hours for like the fee award at the end. But the trend that I see, because I speak a lot to the insurance industry and tell them how evil they are sometimes. No, just kidding, slightly not. They all should be going to retainer-based, because I think the billable hour, and if you are not leveraging technology, like how are you charging for doing discovery responses? And it's like 6 hours discovery responses for $60 an hour for paralegal. That takes 10 minutes using some of these softwares. So whenever I act as general counsel for some of our companies, and when I'm talking to the lawyers we're using, is like, what AI programs are you using? How are you leveraging technology? Because you're going to do a flat fee, and I want to make sure that you're using those types of things. And I think that the billable hour is kind of dwindling a lot. If you do flat fee, how many more people can you help? Because if you're leveraging technology, you could do a lot more with it and not have to send you invoices.
Absolutely.
I like that.
And I'm starting to see the shift. So I
Tell
used to
us.
do billing for clients. A couple years ago, I'm like, I've had my limit. I can't do this anymore. I mean, it is just dreadful. Not only, like, from my perspective, you have to track the time. You have to trust that your staff are tracking their time. The last firm that I did billing for, they were probably like 3 to 4 million annual revenue. I don't remember how many attorneys, total staff, maybe like 16 people. And the one partner would, like, the day, so I would always start billing on the first business day of the month. He still hadn't done any of his time for last month. And I'd have to walk into his office, how you doing? I'm still working on it. And like 2 days later, and I can't print pre-bills until I have all the time in. It's just horrible, but I am seeing more of a shift. I mean, like, I made the shift. I'm not gonna lie, it's scary. I used to bill everything hourly because that's what I was, I started in Big Four, CPA firm, and although I was on the audit side and some of the stuff we did was just flat rate, but we also tracked hours because you had to know if you were profitable on a job, and so you still had to track your hours, and then we did special projects hourly. So when I went on my own, I'm like, oh, it's got to be hourly. I don't know how else I'm going to do this. And then I stumbled onto another CPA who was like, oh, flat fee. And I lost my shirt the first couple engagements, but luckily they were 1 year, engagement letters. And I learned very quickly that I had underpriced. And so the next ones that came in, up, and just kept doubling until I hit a sweet spot. So the problem with the hourly billing is you have to trust that your staff are tracking the time accurately, that they actually put it in your billing system. And then you have somebody who can tackle your billing right away. And I know in law firms, it's very traditional to wait until the end of the month and bill once a month. I hate that. I recommend weekly. I do get pushback on that. People are like, are you kidding me? Every week? I don't have time for this. But think about the amount of time it takes you to bill 1 month of time. It does not take, if it takes you 8 hours, it does not take you 8 hours every week, because you're not working every case every week. So it's a lot less cases that you're billing on a weekly basis. So if you really resist weekly, try bi-weekly, every Monday, every Friday, however you want to do that. Personally from, and then the follow-up part of that is if you're billing hourly, you have to work the time, bill it, and then collect it. And so if you're doing monthly billing, if you work, day one, whatever you worked, you're probably not seeing that money for 6 weeks, because you got to wait until the end of the month, do the bill, send the bill, and then wait for the client to pay it. 6 weeks is a heck of a lot of time. It's way too long for you to wait for the money. And then that
6 weeks? We wait 6 years sometimes. I got a case on appeal.
Sounds great.
But
And
I
I
think
get
that's
that.
an important point.
Yeah.
And it's sort of, I think there is a mindset that, oh, you just bill at the end of the month, or the beginning of the month, rather. So I think this, you don't have to wait until,
Right, you don't have to wait.
you might as well. And there's technology to help
Yeah.
you send out those
Absolutely.
invoices.
Yeah,
we
just
do
run
that.
bills for what's unbilled time for last week. Just send those bills out. And then I will tell you, I'm divorced. So of course, I had to hire an attorney, and she billed me once a month. But I would get the bill and I'd grumble because I'm like, oh, that was like $2,000. I would have been a little bit happier paying $500 every week, which is really crazy. It's the same amount of money, but $500 is easier for me to stomach than $2,000.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it works both ways.
Yeah,
So.
of course. Well, and I think it might be interesting to know, raise your hand if you're still billing by the hour for the majority of your practice. Okay, so maybe it's so interesting to me. I always am telling our product team, billable hour, and they're telling me, no, our customers are saying we're leaning towards more flat fee. But, I hire a lot of law firms as in-house counsel, and I was saying to the folks earlier, like, I love a flat fee. I think it helps me manage my budget. It helps preserve the relationship. I feel like, I'm reasonable I don't want someone getting over their skis and losing their shirt on the engagement. But so, I tell them, come to me if that's starting to look like this isn't great for you, and we'll figure it out. But
Well, can't you, if you're billable, why don't you just record your entire day, say what you're working on, and have technology do the billing for you? That has to exist.
yeah, so we had an interesting pre-conversation, and Bob, maybe you can share your thoughts about how you use technology and AI in particular.
I mean, I try to record everything that I'm doing. Like, I put on the plot, like, I'm not recording this right now, but I recorded 3 hours of me just hanging out last night, so I remembered what I did while I was drinking bourbon, and give myself action items, like, Bob, remember to do this, but it sends me a summary, and it tells me what I need to go and do. But we record everything in our firm, so all meetings are recorded, transcribed, and then my note taker will go into every meeting. It also answers my emails for me, which is awesome because it is better than I am at it. But you get intelligence on top of it, so you could say what happened this week during the meetings that I was not even at, and I can get all that kind of stuff. But you also know what people are doing. But I'm a big believer, like, that's a huge unlock for us, just to be able to literally query a chatbot on how many cases was so-and-so working on this week, what were the meetings, they talked about those clients, so you don't miss anything.
I think that's the really important follow-up is, yes, there's this technology that transcribes meetings and records them and all that stuff, but, like, what do you do? How do you make it actionable on the back end?
Yeah, and I think you can, so we have it with our partners, like, we have everything kind of intertwined into one place at the law firm, and you can literally find out, you can ask questions about what happened during that department without even being there or seeing it. And I just do it, like, for me personally, because I have so many things that I'm managing through the different, even at home. Like, I asked my watch or this about my conversations with my wife, and it says to her, Christine does not like to be recorded. She does not trust when you record her. She will not participate in these shenanigans. And then it told me, like, I have 3 daughters, and they're like little kids, and it was just like, well, tell me, like, what were the action items? It was a Saturday, and it was like, Remy wanted to go find a pony camp, and Josie likes K-pop demon hunters, and she listened. I was like, wow, it worked. It remembered stuff. It was pretty cool.
Will it send the action items to those people, like to your? I don't recommend sending it to your wife. Clearly, she doesn't like your shenanigans. But and I have a list of chores that don't get done, and I feel like I
email it to your kids.
Email it to me.
Or set a date to watch K-pop Demon Hunters with Dad. Yeah.
But to your point about the pushback, like, have you gotten any pushback from employees or clients or?
I mean, it's always about disclosure. So you have to, like, if you're using my thing is, even if you call our AI intake right now, it discloses right away that it's artificial intelligence, that you're being recorded, and you can opt out. Same thing with our clients. You have to, like, we're in a 2-party consent state in California, not here in Texas, but you still should have that. Ethically, I think you should do that. And put that consent out there. If it's their transcript, it's also attorney work product. So when we're building damages for our clients, for instance, I prefer to have all of that there so we remember what we talked about. It's in our work product folder, and it also allows us to story tell better for our clients. I mean, but you got to get consent.
Yeah.
And it's hard. Like, we do get pushback. I mean, my firm was just me as a solo for a little bit, but now we have a lot of employees, and it's sometimes very hard to get them to adopt technology. It's very, right? It's like, we're giving you tools to make it easier for you, but people get stuck in their ways, and they sometimes feel like there's job security. Yes, exactly. But I mean, that's a problem for everybody. Even at our firm, is the technology adoption. But
a little resistant.
Yeah.
Yeah, we see that too. How about you, Kelley?
So I try to record meetings depending on who I'm meeting with, just because then I can be in the moment. Like, I can focus on the meeting and not have to worry about taking notes. And I don't record every meeting. It just depends on who I'm meeting with, who I'm talking with. But especially, like, my staff, we'll jump on a meeting every week, and I'm like, automatically, let's record this, because then I get the summary. I get the transcript of exactly who said what, but then I get a summary and then to-dos, and then I can immediately, it links right into my task management, and so it's all there. And I get off the call and I'm like, oh, like I wasn't stressed about it. It was less like mental energy that I had to exert. And it was just nice to be able to be in the moment and have a conversation. So.
Yeah, I find the follow-ups, the to-dos afterwards, incredibly helpful. How about you, Zach?
I use read.ai for Zoom calls. Nobody's let me do it for a deposition yet, but maybe someday they'll
Oh,
let me do it.
interesting.
Yeah, they'll object. They don't want it. They don't want that AI in here.
Yeah.
Don't you record or transcribe your depositions?
They do, yeah. But the read.ai gives you a nice little summary, and I could just copy and paste that into a note in case peer, and I wouldn't have to take notes, you know?
Just have an outside recorder. Don't order the certified transcript.
I'm excited about it, yeah.
Yeah. Anybody here pays for deposition transcripts? It's very expensive.
Yeah.
And
I can
you only need
imagine.
the certified transcript for any official proceeding, not for all the stuff that for a case that's likely to resolve. So I'm going to record for my wristwatch.
Do you use AI for settlement negotiation planning?
No, that's all up in my head, I think, most of the time, what I want to do. But that's an interesting question. I haven't thought of using it for that purpose.
Yeah.
I mean, we use it to like generate mediation briefs and demand letters, but it's like, I mean, we generally know what the policy limit is, what the injuries are, and it guides that. There's a product called bot mediation, which is an AI mediator, which we've used. You just got to get the other party to agree to it. Oh, it's awesome. And it doesn't. The way they price it is you only pay if the case resolves, which I love, but you're literally just negotiating with an AI mediator. But
Yeah, I've had one client that's PI, and he built his own, like he went through his case history. I can't remember how long the firm's been. It's maybe like 10 years old. But he's put every case, like fact patterns and results. And then now as new cases come in, his intake team can kind of just do a quick, here's the facts. What's the probability? Like,
I think that's smart.
And what would be the like probability to win, probability to settle, what's going to go to court, what would the settlement potential be, stuff like that.
the power of that is it's your internal data. I don't like the open. I never use any open AI products, especially with the client. Never. Don't use any open shit. If you drop your medical records, your clients in there, HIPAA violation. Use a closed source, but stuff that's built on your processes and your stuff, and that's the power.
He has the 10 years of information.
Yes.
I mean, you can't do that year one. You can start. I mean, definitely start building the information.
And Bob, you're talking about open AI products that use the inputs to train the model. But if it doesn't train the model, are you still uncomfortable?
You could do for down and dirty tasks. I'm big on what trained your model. Like I built my own LLM because I did it all, transcribed all the recordings and stuff that I did, all my trial transcripts, depositions. I wrote a book on trying disc injury cases. It's all in its mindset. So you can query my bot. I made it to an AI avatar. It was a hologram last week. I teleported it into a conference. It was pretty cool. This actually happened. And then I switched my AI avatar so I didn't have to be there. It was great.
And you made a reel of it while you were
I did.
training.
I made a reel right in real time, real time. But it's built on the stuff that I know. So it's not pulling from subreddit to get it wrong. And that's the problem. We still see so many lawyers citing cases that don't exist. It's like, oh my God, there's a platform that literally fact check it for you in 2 seconds.
Right, yeah.
But that's the problem is people think that it's correct without fact checking it. You can't do that.
Yeah, anything. I mean, I used ChatGPT, and they have like the overall criteria, or what, I don't know what you want to call it, but you can put, and it just always references that little set of instructions for every chat. So if I go in, so I do a series on YouTube every Friday, Fraud Friday. Okay, so I cite a real case. But I don't have time to research all this. So I'll go into ChatGPT and I'll say, hey, I've already done videos about these cases. Can you find me more? Oh, and by the way, always give me a reference. And one time it came back, I'm like, I have no idea what this is. It was just garbage. But most of the time it comes back and it gives me like the DOJ press release, or it'll link me to a PACER, so I can get that. But I always ask it for, give me the link to validate what you're telling me is true.
That's awesome. I'm going to move to Q&A. One quick, hope this might be yes or no answer, I don't know. Are you starting to see other firms, or do you charge your clients for technology? Some firms pass through certain costs of technology. Is that something that you guys are doing or thinking about?
No.
Not yet.
I'm not seeing that.
You're not seeing it?
So I'm seeing it happen because I look at the retainers of other folks that are charging for specific. We use this platform. We charge $300. I've seen in the retainers they put it in there. I don't do that, but we do disclose. You should put in your retainers that you're using artificial intelligence as a disclosure.
Yeah.
I had to hire an immigration attorney for an issue recently because we're doing a lot of stuff again. Well, and I had to go through the retainer to see what they were doing, and they actually disclosed the AI that they were using. And I went back and said, I want to make sure that before I sign this, is you're not using open AI. So I had them like cite the sources. Like, yeah, we would never do that. But it's a call out that I'm glad that they put it in there.
Yeah.
But it's something ethically you should be disclosing that you're using it and then have some sort of SOPs on best practices.
Yeah, the ABA put out some guidance on specific disclosure for engagement letters. It's really helpful. You can find it on ChatGPT probably in 2 seconds. So do we have any questions from the audience? I think this has been super helpful and interesting. Anybody?
Don't be shy.
Yes, ma'am.
So the closer role, the question is like, how do you identify that closer? So the person is, we call closers the folks that are doing the intake, that know the best cases, the questions to ask, and a lot of how to handle sensitive information. Like we deal with a lot of people that are in their worst position. We do a lot of people that are, sex abuse survivors. We have a lot of people that are having immigration issues, and for this reason is they don't want to be recorded because they have a distrust, right? So those are when you start to have that conversation, just ask, would you like to talk? Some people have been very comfortable about, because it speaks every language and it flips the transcript, but it's about that disclosure, and if they're not, it identifies that the call hung up or what it was generally about, and then you can have your closer go and then affirmatively call them back. But there's a fear factor there, and our clients honestly should feel afraid for a lot of those things. To find the closers, I use one called Attorney Assist. There's all the closers I actually think we use at our firm, except for one, are virtual assistants that are trained. They're overseas. We have them 24/7. They're excellent. They're well trained. They know all our work processes. It goes directly into our systems. They have follow-ups. I can see all the notes. There's 2 or 3 companies that we work with. One's Attorney Assistant, and I forget the other one. And we interview them, talk through them. They usually work for other law firms, and we've had fantastic experience with that. I have not required prior sales experience, but I do think that the best lawyers are salespeople, or ex-bartenders, or waiters, or barbacks.
That was a good question. I hadn't heard of people using closers before, so I think that makes sense, especially using the cost-effective models. Any other questions, folks? Things that are interesting? Yeah.
So we build our own AI intake with Ratel AI. So I use Ratel AI, and then we push into Attorney Share to track all of our referrals. They're out there as a vendor. I use EvenUp to do our medical record stuff, and I know they integrate with some of the systems here, and I think they're the best at that closed data. They also run playbooks on personal injury, which we're exploring now. I use ClearBrief AI. ClearBrief is one that does the fact checking of other people's briefs to make sure the sites are accurate. You could build models out of that. I use Fixer, Fyxer is the one that answers my emails for me. That's the one that logs into all my meetings for me personally. It's pretty crazy that I can log into my inbox right now and it says the suggested responses to, and I go to the end of the day and there's probably 200 of them, and I'll literally just go look and say, send, edit a little bit, send,
so like
send.
in Bruce Almighty?
Yeah.
He was like, yes.
Yes. That was reminding me when he...
You know he got into trouble with that.
Really?
Well, Bruce Almighty.
Oh, yeah,
Like
in the movie.
Yeah.
And it's like, what blowback did he have from that?
Everybody got what they wanted.
Yeah.
That was not good.
I use the Plod one but it's all syncing in the back end because that's the one that's recording. I could probably give a whole list of stuff that I'm using. But here, the biggest challenge, though, is how are all those things connected and talking to each other? And, when you're using your case management system, and that's just your hub. You should have everything in your hub, but where's it pulling out of? Everything should be saved in there, all the transcripts, to get intelligence off of it. So I think the biggest challenge, right, is how to get all those systems to be in a single login.
Do you have someone at the firm, like an IT person, who helps with all of that? Or who owns that at the firm? You?
So at my firm, I have a CTO that does those things. At the technology companies, we have CTO and engineers that do those things. But at the end of the day, you got to know enough about it. And I have an EA she's in Argentina, and she leverages a lot of these AI products. I help teach her on it so that we can stay in constant communication. Like, she'll get the transcripts of my recordings the past 2 days and make sure I get follow-ups and do things.
Yeah. I think that's fantastic. Great question. Any other tools you guys would add?
I'm a big Zapier fan.
Yeah.
I'm kind of, Zapier is the cheapest way to be able to achieve all of this without having to hire anybody if you figure it out. A good example that I have of using AI and Zapier to connect it all is I have it summarizing my discovery responses that I receive from the defense. I created a Zap with an email address. So all I have to do is email that attachment to this email address. It will respond to the email with a set amount of questions, because it's mostly car wrecks, and so it's like what the policy limits are, what they, are there RTPs, responsible third parties, are there any potential parties, were they in the course and scope? So I have a list of questions that answers it, and the added step that I've just created, and it's not working so well, but it works sometimes. If I put in the subject, if I put in the name of the client or the client number, I can get it to post that as a note in that client's case. So I just have to send the email, and then I don't have to do anything. Now I'm copying and pasting it into a note, but I put AI summary at the top of the note, just so
Smart, yeah.
I have to read it someday.
How much time do you think AI is saving you personally in your practice? And how much time do you think it'll save you next year? How do you see it changing?
Oh, with summaries alone, it's saving me hours every week. I know that.
Yeah, same with me.
I mean, it's a hard question because it's like infinite time, because it's the most valuable thing in the world is your time. So just buy back as much as you can. That's just, for me, because I'm juggling so many things, and I try to be home with my kids as much as I can. Like, that's my number one priority. So like, wearing meta glasses, taking calls while I'm taking the kids to school on the bike, right? Like, I'm trying to be as efficient as I can with my time, but still being able to earn money to be able to have these experiences with your kids. So buy back your time. Also a great book. Like, I think that's the name of it, Buy Back Your Time. Great book. I didn't read it, but I heard it was great.
One of your virtual assistants will probably read it for you here pretty quick. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
I do have one question, mostly for you, Zach. You mentioned you had 200 reviews. I own a estate planning probate guardianship firm, and I wanted to ask about, of course, how do you get reviews? What's your process? Do you ask for reviews more so with the consultation or at the end? I'm sure it's a lot easier to get reviews when you're giving people a big check instead of probate. But either way, I just wanted to know your process and also what AI tools you're using for that.
So getting reviews is, straight up bribes. That's how I get the reviews.
$5.
I have a swag bag at the end of every case whenever it closes out. It has, some branded gear in it, candy, if they're, that sort of thing. I love candy, so it's got some branded candy on there. I hand that to the client along with, if you'd like to give us a Google review, that sort of thing. I like to, less and less I'm able to actually touch and, shake the client at the end of the case. A lot of people just put it in my bank account, just send it to me electronically. That's when I can figure out, is this client happy with me? Like, they're going to give me a good Google review. And it's more a shot in the dark these days, but most of the time I can go back through the notes and the text messages in the case and see, have they been frustrated with us? Has this taken a long time? Then I don't even send them the Google review link at that point. I kind of, at the end of the case, my attorney does the same thing. When he closes out his cases, he knows he has a task that says, here's the Google link. It's that shortened hyperlink. We text it to him. And then, the task says, is the client happy? Check first, then send this link.
Smart.
You can also do it for attorney referrals too, so people that you work with can also leave you Google reviews, so other people that you've gotten work from. And there are automations that you can send the link for them to be able to do. I have an app just called the Justice Team app for our law firm that we give away for people for free, and it has a call my lawyer button for the AI assist, but they can also do the reviews and stuff on it like that as well. But make it as easy for them as you possibly can.
I'm sorry to say we're at time. But thank you so much for coming. Thank you, Bob, Kelley, and Zach. Good luck on your congressional race.
Representative.
We'll be representative. We'll be rooting for you.
Thank you.
And thank you for all your time. Thank you for coming and the great questions.
If you are listening to this podcast episode and you're thinking, I know I need to understand my numbers in my law firm better, but I'm just not ready for CFO support. That's exactly why I created a program called Profit Strong 90. Now, Profit Strong 90 is a structured 90-day course designed specifically for law firm owners who want financial clarity without the overwhelm. So inside this course, you're going to learn how to understand your profit and loss without feeling intimidated, identify where profit is leaking from your firm, improve cash flow predictability, build financial habits that support long-term growth, and make better decisions using real data instead of gut instincts. Now, this isn't theory. It is practical step-by-step guidance built around how law firms actually operate. If you want to feel more confident looking at your numbers, if you want to stop guessing, and if you want to build a stronger financial foundation for your law firm, I can't make this any better of an offer. It's free. Click the link in the show notes below to join Profit Strong 90. This is where clarity starts for you.